Hi class, we are going to start reading A Raisin in the Sun today. So we're going to be listening to the audiobook as we follow along with the text. So we're following along with the text so that you can see the words as we're going along, because remember, we will be using text evidence in some of the questions that we answer, as well as when we write CERs. So make sure that you're following along. I just want to remind you guys that this is a play. So the very beginning is going to have some paragraphs that just explain where they are and who the characters are. And then it will have their name to show you who's talking. So you can see this conversation is between Walter and Ruth. And later on you can see Travis says something. So that should help you when we are following along.
The younger living room would be a comfortable and well-ordered room if it were not for a number of indestructible contradictions to this state of being. Its furnishings are typical and undistinguished, and their primary feature now is that they have clearly had to accommodate the living of too many people for too many years, and they are tired. Still, we can see that at some time, a time probably no longer remembered by the family, except perhaps for Mama, the furnishings of this room were actually selected with care and love and even hope, and brought to this apartment and arranged with taste and pride. That was a long time ago. Now the once-loved pattern of the couch upholstery has to fight to show itself from under acres of crocheted doilies and couch covers, which have themselves finally come to be more important than the upholstery. And here a table or a chair has been moved to disguise the worn places in the carpet, but the carpet has fought back by showing its weariness with depressing uniformity elsewhere on its surface. Weariness has, in fact, won in this room. Everything has been polished, washed, sat on, used, scrubbed too often. All pretenses but living itself have long since vanished from the very atmosphere of this room.
So far, they have started describing the setting, the place where this takes place, and they've described it as living too many people for too many years. So it's very crowded. They've also described their living space as having worn places in the carpet, and everything has been scrubbed too often. So what does this say about the living quarters of this family?
Moreover, a section of this room, for it is not really a room unto itself, though the landlord's lease would make it seem so, slopes backward to provide a small kitchen area, where the family prepares the meals that are eaten in the living room proper, which must also serve as dining room. The single window that has been provided for these two rooms is located in this kitchen area. The sole natural light the family may enjoy in the course of a day is only that which fights its way through this little window. At left, a door leads to a bedroom, which is shared by Mama and her daughter beneath her. At right, opposite, is a second room, which in the beginning of the life of this apartment was probably a breakfast room, which serves as a bedroom for Walter and his wife Ruth. Time, sometime between World War II and the present. Place, Chicago South Side. At rise, it is morning dark in the living room. Travis is asleep on the make-down bed at center. An alarm clock sounds from within the bedroom at right, and presently Ruth enters from that room and closes the door behind her. She crosses sleepily toward the window. As she passes her sleeping son, she reaches down and shakes him a little. At the window, she raises the shade, and a dusky south side morning light comes in feebly. She fills a pot with water and puts it on to boil. She calls to the boy between yawns in a slightly muffled voice. Ruth is about 30. We can see that she was a pretty girl, even exceptionally so, but now it is apparent that life has been little that she expected, and disappointment has already begun to hang in her face. In a few years, before 35 even, she will be known among her people as a settled woman. She crosses to her son and gives him a good, final, rousing shake.
So far, we know that they live in a very small apartment. It doesn't have many rooms, and there's a lot of people living there. So the couple's son sleeps on the couch, and they call it a makeshift bed. We know that Ruth is about 30 years old, so we can assume she's the mom. And it says that she seems tired and disappointed with life. She's waking up her son, and they're about to begin talking.
Wake up, Travis! Travis! Come on now, boy, wake up! Come on, Travis, it's 7:30. I said hurry up, Travis. You ain't the only person in the world got to use the bathroom.
Just 5 more minutes.
Travis, wake up.
The child, a sturdy, handsome little boy of 10 or 11, drags himself out of the bed and almost blindly takes his towels and today's clothes from drawers and a closet and goes out to the bathroom, which is in an outside hall and which is shared by another family or families on the same floor. Ruth crosses to the bedroom door at right and opens it and calls into her husband.
Walter Lee. Walter Lee, it's after 7:30. Let me see you doing some waking up in there now. You better get up from there, man. It's 7:30, I tell you. All right. You go on ahead and lay there. And the next thing you know, Travis will be finished, and Mr. Johnson will be in there, and you'll be fussing and cussing around here like a madman. And be late, too. Walter Lee, it's time for you to get up.
She waits another second and then starts to go into the bedroom, but is apparently satisfied that her husband has begun to get up. She stops, pulls the door to, and returns to the kitchen area. She wipes her face with a moist cloth and runs her fingers through her sleep-disheveled hair in a vain effort and ties an apron around her house coat. The bedroom door at right opens, and her husband stands in the doorway in his pajamas, which are rumpled and mismated. He is a lean, intense young man in his middle 30s, inclined to quick, nervous movements and erratic speech habits, and always in his voice there is a quality of indictment.
Is he out yet?
What you mean out? He ain't hardly got in there good yet.
Well, what was you doing all that yelling for if I can't even get in there yet? The check coming today?
They said Saturday, and this is just Friday. And I hopes to God you ain't gonna get up here first thing this morning and start talking to me about no money. Because I about don't want to hear it.
Oh. You look young this morning, baby.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just for a second, stirring them eggs. Just for a second, it was, you look real young again. It's gone now. You look like yourself again.
Man, if you don't shut up and leave me alone.
First thing a man ought to learn in life is not to make love to no colored woman first thing in the morning. Y'all some evil people at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Come on, Daddy, come on.
Well, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Well, hurry
Come
on. Here comes Mr. Johnson coming down the hall.
Oh, I'm coming.
Go on. Sit down and eat your breakfast, Travis. Mama, this is Friday. Check come tomorrow, huh? You get your mind off money and eat your breakfast. Well, this the morning we supposed to bring in 50 cents to school. Well, I ain't got no 50 cents this morning. Teacher say we have to. I don't care what teacher say. I ain't got it. Eat your breakfast, Travis. I am eating. Hush up now and just eat. You think Grandmama would have it? No. And I want you to stop asking your grandmother for money. You hear me? Golly, I don't ask her. She just give me it sometimes. Travis Willard Younger, I got too much on me this morning. Maybe Daddy. Travis! Could I maybe go carry some groceries in front of the supermarket after school then? Just hush, I said. Well, if you're through eating, you can make up your bed. Mama, could I please go carry groceries? Honey, it's starting to get so cold evening.
What is it he wants to do?
Go carry groceries at the supermarket.
Well, let him go.
I have to. She won't give me the 50 cents.
Why not?
Because we don't have it.
What you tell the boy things like that for? Here, son.
Thanks, Daddy.
In fact, here's another 50 cents. You buy yourself some fruit today or take a taxi cab to school or something.
Whoopee.
Hey, you better get down now and get to school, man.
Okay, goodbye.
That's my boy. You know what I was thinking about in the bathroom this morning?
No.
How come you always try to be so pleasant?
What is there to be pleasant about?
You want to know what I was thinking about in the bathroom or not?
I know what you was thinking about.
About what me and Willie Harris was talking about last night.
Willie Harris is a good-for-nothing loudmouth.
Anybody who talks to me got to be a good-for-nothing loudmouth, ain't it? What you know about who's just a good-for-nothing loudmouth? Charlie Atkins was just a good-for-nothing loudmouth too, wasn't he? When he wanted me to go into the dry cleaning business with him, and now he grossing $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year. You still call him a loudmouth?
Oh, Walter Lee.
You tired, ain't you? You tired of everything. Me, the boy, the way we live, this beat up whole everything, ain't you? So tired, moaning and groaning all the time, but you wouldn't do nothing to help, would you? You couldn't be on my side for that long for nothing, could you?
Walter, please leave me alone.
A man needs for a woman to back him up.
Walter.
Mama would listen to you. You know she listen to you more than she do me, and Benny should think more of you. All you got to do is just sit down with her when you're drinking your coffee and talking about things like you do, and you just sip your coffee, see, and say easy like that you've been thinking about that deal Walter Lee is so interested in, about the store and all, and sip some more coffee like what you saying ain't that important to you. And the next thing you know, she listening good and asking questions. And when I come home, I can tell her the details. This ain't no fly-by-night proposition, baby. I mean, we figured it out. Me, Willie, and Bobo.
Bo.
All right, so far we can see that their son is getting ready for school. Walter Lee has to get up and get ready for work, but they all share one bathroom with people on their floor, so they have to hurry. And Walter, he gets up in the morning, the first thing he says is, "Hey, is the check coming today?" And the wife is upset that the first thing he mentions is money. The wife is also upset when Walter Lee gives their son some money for school. Why do you think she would be upset about this?
Bo.
Yeah. You see, this little liquor store cost $75,000, and we figured initial investment on the place be about $30,000. See, $10,000 each. Of course, there's a couple hundreds you gotta pay, so you don't spend your life waiting for them clowns to get your license.
You mean grab?
Well, don't call it that. See there? That just goes to show you what women understand about the world. Baby, don't nothing happen for you in this world unless you pay somebody off.
Walter, leave me alone. Eat your eggs, they're gonna be cold.
You see that? Man says to his woman, "I got me a dream," and this woman say, "Eat your eggs." Man say, "I gotta take hold of this here world, baby," and a woman will say, "Eat your eggs and go to work." A man say, "I got to change my life. I'm choking to death, baby," and his woman say, "Your eggs getting cold?"
Walter, that ain't none of our money.
This morning, I was looking in the mirror and thinking about it. I'm 35 years old. I've been married 11 years, and I got a boy who sleeps in the living room. And all I got to give him is nothing but stories about how rich white people live.
Eat your eggs, Walter.
Damn my eggs, and damn all the eggs that ever was.
Then go to work.
See, I'm trying to talk to you about me, and all you can say is eat them eggs and go to work?
Honey, you never say nothing new. I listen to you every day, every night, and every morning, and you never say nothing new. So you would rather be Mr. Arnold than be his chauffeur. So I would rather be living in Buckingham Palace.
That is just what's wrong with the colored woman in this world. Don't understand nothing about building the men up, making them feel like they're somebody, like they can do something.
There are colored men who do things.
No thanks to the colored women.
Well, being a colored woman, I guess I can't help myself none.
We one group of men.
All right, so now we can hear the couple arguing about money and about jobs. Walter Lee seems to want to open a liquor store with some of his buddies. And do you think that his wife is supportive of that dream? What does she think about that dream?
Men tied to a race of women with small minds.
Morning, Benny.
His sister Beneatha enters. She is about 20, as slim and intense as her brother. She is not as pretty as her sister-in-law, but her lean, almost intellectual face has a handsomeness of its own. She wears a bright red flannel nightie, and her thick hair stands wildly about her head. Her speech is a mixture of many things. It is different from the rest of the families insofar as education has permeated her sense of English, and perhaps the Midwest rather than the South has finally, at last, won out in her inflection, but not altogether, because over all of it is a soft slurring and transformed use of vowels, which is the decided influence of the South Side. She passes through the room without looking at either Ruth or Walter, and goes to the outside door and looks, a little blindly, out to the bathroom. She sees that it has been lost to the Johnsons. She closes the door with a sleepy vengeance, and crosses to the table and sits down a little defeated.
I'm going to start timing those people in that bathroom.
You should get up earlier.
Really? Would you suggest dawn? Where's the paper?
Benny, you are one horrible-looking chick at this hour.
Good morning, everybody.
How's school coming?
Lovely. Lovely. And you know, biology's the greatest.
Oh.
Yesterday, I dissected something that looked just like you.
I just wondered if you made up your mind and everything.
And what did I answer yesterday morning? And the day before that?
Don't be so nasty, Benny.
And the day before that? And the day before that?
I'm interested in, is something wrong with that? Ain't many girls who decide
To be a doctor.
Have we figured out that's just exactly how much medical school gonna cost?
Come on in, please.
Walter Lee, why don't you leave that girl alone and get on out of here to work?
Beneath it, you know the check is coming tomorrow.
That money belongs to Mama, Walter. And it's for her to decide how to use it. I don't care if she wants to buy a house or a rocket ship or just nail it up and look at it. It's hers. Not ours. Hers.
Now, ain't that fine? You just got your mother's interest at heart, ain't you, girl? You're such a nice girl, but Mama can always take a few thousand and help you through school, too, can't she?
I have never asked anyone around here to do anything for me.
No, but the line between asking and just accepting when the time comes is big and wide, ain't it?
What do you want from me, brother? That I quit school or just drop dead? Which?
I don't want nothing for you to stop acting holy around here. Me and Ruth done made some sacrifices for you. Why can't you do something for the family?
Walter, don't be dragging me in it.
You are in it. Don't you get up and work in somebody's kitchen and help put clothes on her back?
Walter, that's not
It
fair.
ain't that nobody expects you to get down on your knees and say, thank you, brother. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Travis, for wearing the same pair of shoes for 2 semesters.
Well, I do. All right. Thank everybody. And forgive me for ever wanting to be anything at all. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me.
Please stop. Your mama will hear you.
Who the hell told you you had to be a doctor? You so crazy about messing around with sick people? Then go be a nurse like other women. Or you could just get married and shut up.
Well, you finally got it said. It took you 3 years, but you finally got it said. Walter, give up. Leave me alone. It's Mama's money.
He was my father, too.
So what? He was mine, too, and Travis's grandfather. But the insurance money belongs to Mama. Picking on me is not going to make her give it to you to invest in any liquor stores. And I, for one, say God bless Mama for that.
See? Ruth, did you hear? Did you hear?
Honey, please go to work.
Nobody in this house is ever going to understand me.
Because you're a nut.
Who's a nut?
You are a nut. V is mad, boy.
The world's most backward race of people, and that's a fact.
And then there are all those prophets who would lead us out of the wilderness into the swamps.
Benny, why you always got to be picking on your brother? Can't you be a little sweeter sometimes?
I need some money for car fare.
50 cents. Here. Take a taxi.
All right, so now we have met Walter Lee's sister, Beneatha. Beneatha wants to be a doctor. So far, we've learned that Walter Lee wants to open a liquor store, and Beneatha needs help paying for her medical school. How do you think the relationship is between Walter Lee and his sister, Beneatha?
Walter exits. Mama enters. She is a woman in her early 60s, full-bodied and strong. She is one of those women of a certain grace and beauty who wear it so unobtrusively that it takes a while to notice. Her dark brown face is surrounded by the total whiteness of her hair, and being a woman who has adjusted to many things in life and overcome many more, her face is full of strength. She has, we can see, wit and faith of a kind that keep her eyes lit and full of interest and expectancy. She is, in a word, a beautiful woman. Her bearing is perhaps most like the noble bearing of the women of the Hereros of southwest Africa, rather as if she imagines that as she walks, she still bears a basket or a vessel upon her head. Her speech, on the other hand, is as careless as her carriage is precise. She is inclined to slur everything, but her voice is perhaps not so much quiet as simply soft.
Who that round here slamming doors at this hour?
That was Walter Lee. He and Benny was at it again.
My children and their tempers. Oh, Lord. If this old plant don't get more sun than it's been getting, it ain't never gonna see spring again. What's the matter with you this morning, Ruth? You looks right peaked. You aiming to iron all them things? Leave some... Benny, what was you and your brother fussing about?
It's not important, Mama.
Ruth, what was they fussing about?
Now you know as well as I do.
Brother still worrying himself sick about that money?
You know he is.
You had breakfast?
Some coffee.
Girl, you better start eating and looking after yourself better. You're almost as thin as Travis.
Lena,
Uh-huh.
what are you going to do with it?
Now, don't you start, child. It's too early in the morning to be talking about money. Besides, it ain't Christian.
It's just that he got his heart set on that store.
We ain't no business people, Ruth. We just plain working folks.
Well, ain't nobody business people till they go into business. And Walter Lee says colored people ain't never gonna start getting ahead till they start gambling on some different kinds of things in the world. Investments and things.
What done gotten to you, girl? Walter Lee done finally sold you on investing?
No. Mama, something's happening between Walter and me. I don't know what it is, but he needs something. Something I can't give him anymore. He needs this chance, Lena.
But liquor, honey.
Well, Walter say I expect people are always going to be drinking themselves some liquor.
Well, whether they drinks it or not ain't none of my business. But whether I sells it to 'em is. And I don't want that on my ledger this late in life. Ruth Younger, what's the matter with you today? You look like you could fall over right there.
I'm tired.
Then you better stay home from work.
I can't stay home. She be calling up the agency. My girl didn't come in today. Send me somebody. My girl didn't come in. Oh, she just have a fit.
Well, let her have it. I'll just call her up and say you got the flu.
Why the flu?
'Cause it sounds respectable to 'em. Something white people get too. They know about the flu. Otherwise, they think you're being cut up or something when you tell them you're sick.
I got to go in. We need the money.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Somebody would have thought my children done all but starved to death the way they talk about money here late. Child, we got a great big old check coming tomorrow.
Now that's your money. It ain't got nothing to do with me. We all feel like that. Walter and Benny and me, even Travis.
$10,000.
All right, so I just want to remind you guys that there is a check coming in the mail tomorrow. The family seems really anxious and excited about it. Some of the people have different ideas about what they would want Mama to do with the money, but it has been said multiple times that the money belongs to Mama because of some insurance. So Mama's husband had just died, and it was his life insurance that gave them this check. So we know that Walter Lee wants to open a liquor store with that money. How does Mama feel about that?
Sure is wonderful.
$10,000.
You know what you should do, Miss Lena? You should take yourself a trip somewhere to Europe or South America or someplace.
Oh,
no, I'm serious. Just pack up and leave. Forget about the family and just have yourself a ball for once in your life.
You sound like I'm just about ready to die. Who go with me? What I look like wandering around Europe all by myself?
Shoot. These here rich white women do it all the time. They don't think nothing about packing up their suitcases and piling on one of them big steamships and whoosh, they gone, child.
Something always told me I wasn't no rich white woman.
Well, what are you going to do with it then?
I ain't rightly decided. Of course, some of it got to be put away for Beneath's medical school, and ain't nothing gonna touch that part, nothing. Been thinking that maybe we could meet the notes on a little old two-story somewhere with a yard where Travis could play in the summertime. If we use part of the insurance for a down payment and everybody kind of pitch in, I could maybe take on a little day work again.
Well, Lord knows we put enough rent into this here old rat trap to pay for 4 houses by now.
Rat trap. Yes, that's all it is. I remember just as well the day me and Big Walter moved in here, though. Hadn't been married but 2 weeks and wasn't planning on living here no more than a year. We was gonna set away little by little, don't you know, and buy a little place out at Morgan Park. Even picked out the house. Looks right dumpy today. But child, you should know all the dreams I had about buying that house and fixing it up and making me a little garden in the back. And did none of it happen?
Yes, life can be a barrel of disappointment sometimes.
Big Walter used to say he'd get right wet in the eyes sometimes, lean his head back with the water standing in his eyes and say, seemed like God didn't see fit to give the black man nothing but dreams. But he did give us children to make them dreams seem worthwhile. He could talk like that, don't you know?
Yes, he sure could. He was a good man, Mr. Younger.
Yes, a fine man. Just could never catch up with his dreams, that's all.
What could be so dirty on that woman's rugs that she has to vacuum them every single day?
Well, I wish a certain young woman round here who I could name would take inspiration about certain rugs in a certain apartment I could also mention.
How much cleaning can a house need, for Christ's sake?
Benny.
Just listen to her. Just listen.
Oh, God.
Benny, if you use the Lord's name just one more time.
Oh, Mama.
Just fresh as salt, this girl.
Benitha, that just wasn't necessary.
Well, neither is God. I get sick of hearing about God.
Benitha.
I mean it. It's just that I get tired of him getting credit for all the things the human race achieves through its own stubborn effort. There simply is no blasted God. There is only man, and it is he who makes miracles.
Now you say after me, in my mother's house, there is still God. In my mother's house, there is still God.
In my mother's house, there is still God.
There are some ideas we ain't gonna have in this house. Not long as I'm still head of this family.
Yes, ma'am. Benny, you think you a woman, but you still a little girl. What you did was childish, so you got treated like a child.
I see. I also see that everybody thinks it's all right for Mama to be a tyrant. But all the tyranny in the world will never put a God in the heavens.
She said she was sorry. Lena?
They frightens me, Ruth. My children.
You got good children, Lena. They just a little off sometimes, but they're good.
No, there's something come down between me and them that don't let us understand each other, and I don't know what it is. One done almost lost his mind thinking about money all the time, and the other done commenced to talk about things I can't seem to understand in no form or fashion. What is it that's changing, Ruth?
No, you're taking it all too seriously. You just got strong-willed children, and it takes a strong woman like you to keep them in hand.
They spirited all right, my children. Got to admit they got spirit, Benny and Walter. Like this little old plant that ain't never had enough sunshine or nothing. And look at it.
All right, so we've heard an argument between Mama and Benitha, her daughter. They are arguing about religion, and Mama feels like her kids are changing and getting further and further from who they used to be. Mama is really interested in her houseplant, and she keeps going over to her poor little plant that never gets no sunshine. Mama has mentioned to Ruth what she would love to do with the money. What would she like to do with the money? What is her dream so far?
He sure loves that little old thing, don't you?
Well, I always wanted me a garden like folks had down home. This plant is close as I ever got to having one. Lord, Lord, ain't nothing as dreary as the view from this window on a dreary day, is there? Why ain't you singing this morning, Ruth? Sing that No Ways Tired. That song always lifts me up so. Ruth, honey, what's the matter with you? Ruth?
So at the end of the scene, Mama is talking to Ruth, and all of a sudden Ruth collapses. She passes out. So Mama is really worried about her. That is the end of Act 1, Scene 1. And you can go ahead and move on to the next assignment.